And for connecting it to National Waterway 1, we are reviving a Jangipur navigation lock also, which will connect National Waterway 1. The studies has been done by IIT Roorkee, and this will be a World Bank funding project. Then route number 7 and 8, it is Upper Assam to Lower Assam, starting from Pandu and coming to Karimganj. 9 and 10 is a new route. It is from in the state of Tripura, connecting Sonamura, ICP in Tripura, and in Daudkhandi in Bangladesh, it is connecting river Meghna. It is 93-kilometer long river, out of which 92-kilometer portion is in Bangladesh. The Joint Technical Committee has assessed the dredging quantities, this also for developing 2.5 meter depth. Being a small river, a transshipment port has been proposed in the confluence of Daudkhandi and Gumti river, and upstream of this, by small vessels, the cargo will be moved. Just I want to highlight also, in 22nd Standing Committee meeting was held in Dhaka in 2023, where a new 3 port calls has been developed. One is Diamond Harbour, Sagardigi in India, and Jakiganj in the Bangladesh. Now the Bangladesh vessels we were permitted to come up to Calcutta and Triveni. They can sail up to Sagardigi, but it is yet to be notified through 3rd addendum to the protocol between India and Bangladesh. This I have told that this proposal is going on to revival of the Jangipur navigation lock for operations of 5 and 6. When this Jangipur lock will be operational, it will reduce the distance from 930 kilometers. But it will take time to construct navigation lock. So Bangladesh and India has agreed to develop a port at Maya. 5 trial runs has already been conducted in this route, and soonly in the line of dredging of 80-20 funding, means funding of 80% by India government and 20% by Bangladesh government is agreed in the 20th Standing Committee in Bangladesh. Now, IWT connectivity with Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, and Myanmar. Bangladesh, I have illustrated you. Nepal, we have a terminal at Sahebganj. Then from Patna and Varanasi, we can transport the cargo up to these terminals, and then from road, from Sahebganj to Viratnagar, from Patna to Birganj, and Varanasi to Natwana. And there is another alternative route at Sitwe. Sitwe, we have developed, through the funding of Ministry of External Affairs, we have developed a port at Sitwe. Then Kaladan River also has been developed, and 539 kilometers sea route is there. Opportunities for coal transportation on National Waterway 1. Our team has identified 11 thermal power stations which are in the vicinity of 10 kilometers on National Waterway 1. We request the users to use this waterway, which is now flexible. For depth issues, we have given the HODs in contract for maintaining the depths as per the mandate and classifications of the waterway. Messrs. Jindal ITF has transported 19.5 lakhs metric ton imported coal between Sagar to NTPC Farakka in NW1 during November 2013 to August 27 under the tripartite agreement signed between NTPC, IW and Jindal. First photograph is showing the cargo was loaded at Sandheads. IW has provided updated the navigation tracks and provided the electronic navigation charts and routes to the users. Then the cargo was offloaded at the Farakka. Opportunities for coal transportation using National Waterway 1, IBB routes and NW2. Approximately, what we have got to understand that 1.25 million tons of annual coal demand exists for the cement industry in the northeast, and approx 20-25% of coal is met by imported coal coming from Haldia, that is Shama Prasad Mukherjee port. We request to use this waterway, which is operational. In Bangladesh also, the stretch which is not navigable, India government is funding, and for the maintenance of 2.5 meter depth from Sirajganj to Chilmari and Jakiganj to Ashuganj. This was first trial run which was conducted by Shama Prasad Mukherjee port from Calcutta to Sitwe. It sailed from Calcutta with 100,000 metric ton of cement on 4th May 2023 and was received by our Honorable Minister for Port Shipping and Waterways, Shri Sonowal ji, on 9th November 2023 at Sitwe. In addition to above, we have a India-Bangladesh coastal shipping agreements where 7 ports of call are decided on either sides to promote interconnected trade. Just I want to tell that in the month of June also, 21 delegation from Bangladesh has visited Krishnapatnam, Vishakhapatnam, Chennai, Haldia ports for assessment of transportation of third country cargo of Bangladesh using these ports. Then we have an agreement on the use of Chattogram and Mongla ports to Bangladesh to transit cargo of India signed on 25th October 28. The cargo, the cargo trend is in moving trend. You can see in the financial year it was 18.1 million ton, from where it is reached up to 133 million ton in the financial year 24. And our target to 2047 is 133 million ton. So this is protocol. The movement in the protocol, you can see the major commodities only fly ash, which is up to 95%, and other commodities very less. In the COVID period, some cargo was shifted to waterways, like food grains and all that. That time, the fly ash percentage was 80 and others cargo commodity was 20. So for initiatives, what we are taking to enhance the cargo. For the commodity like steel and bars, we have signed MOU with Tata Steel. For liquid naphtha, we have signed MOU with Brahmaputra crackers. For ODC and other cargoes for Niwali refinery. For gypsum, we have signed MOU with Ultratech. Stone and aggregate boulders, the demand is very much in Bangladesh. This Maya port of call, this is IBP for IBP route 5 and 6, which is the river Padma. This route will be a game changer in the coming time when dredging is completed and this route is operational. So for our capacity augmentation of NW through Jalmarg projects, we have a multimodal terminal at Varanasi. MMT Sahibganj, a multimodal terminal Haldia, 60 community jetties. We are making all around from Calcutta to right up to Varanasi. In this 22 community jetties are coming in Calcutta where ferry services are flying, and we are giving them the shore and offshore facilities like lighting, toilets, e-ticketing facilities and all this. This is under Jalmarg project only. Then IMT Kalughat terminal has also been developed. A new navigation lock, I have told. For actually, when vessels are going from upstream Patna, there is a problem of pontoons, and vessels have to wait for a long time to cross that vessel. So quick opening pontoon system is also under the considerations. This is the Kalughat IMT, which has recently developed at Saran district in Bihar. The capacity of this terminal is 77,000 TEUs. It will serve as a key link for cargo movement, particularly for Nepal-bound shipments. Sir, this is the topic which we are going through from the morning for use of National Waterway 5. In this, I will just highlight some issues that SPV has formed with Government of Odisha, IW and Paradip Port Authority. Coal India will join in this too later. DPR for phase 1, Patnapal to Pankapal has been completed. DPR for phase 2 is received from NTCPWC, that is IIT Chennai on 18/6/2024. Financial model prepared after due consultation with Government of Odisha, CIL and leading banks and reviewed by our chairman IW and report has been sent to Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways for considerations. Sir, MOU has been entered between IW and IFCO. IWA to construct a permanent jetty on behalf of IFCO at Paradip. Preliminary meeting with IFCO held on 8th August 24 to finalize the specs of the proposed jetty. Work will be considered by tender and schedule of completion by December 25. Sir, this I will take this just a short. In addition to this, is a river cruise is also coming in this. 10 cruise circuits are 10 cruise vessels are already plying in National Waterway 1 and 4 are National Waterway 2. We have identified Mongla circuit, Barishal and Narayanganj circuit in Bangladesh. SOP has been signed between India and Bangladesh. This was the route. There was a longest route journey by MV Ganga Vilas starting from Varanasi, which was flagged off by Honorable Prime Minister, our Modi sir, on 30th January 2023. And it took 52 days to reach Brahmaputra at Dibrugarh, and it was received by our Honorable Minister for Port Shipping and Waterways. It crossed 27 rivers. The locations which are highlighted in this route map is showing the tourist interest of point.
Mr. Kumar, please.
Sir, I take 1 minute more, sir. Digital initiatives. For cargo data, we are capturing the cargo data It is available on our website. What cargo in what national waterway, what cargo is there, is data is there. Another, for a Pani portal, a portal for access and navigational informations. IWA is taking fortnightly Talway surveys on all the declared national waterways, and we are uploading our data. It was through the digital, just for a depth base. Now it is in the digital mode available in the Pani portal. What IWA expects from the gathering here? Industry to take advantage of the waterways, shift a share of cargo to IWT mode, identify problems and communicate to us for their resolutions, evolve future-proof strategy with support of all stakeholders, users and operators. Chairman sir, in the opening remark has already told that this is cost-effective and environment-friendly mode. So I take this opportunity to encourage the private sector to participate in large numbers in creating, operating and managing IWT infrastructure and play a vital role in making IWT a viable supplementary modal choice and make IWT a part of the wider transport narrative. Wishing the organizers a successful event. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for a very nice presentation. The last speaker for our session is Sri Abhinav Sengupta, Associate Director, PwC.
Mr. Sengupta. He is an MBA and currently working with PwC India as manager in management consulting and mining and metals. Kindly help us in winding up in next 10 minutes. Thank you.
First of all, good afternoon to all of you. I feel like, just before your lunch, I feel like an appetizer. I won't be there between your lunch and this, and we'll try to wrap up in less than 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you to all the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais. Really a privilege on my part to address this August gathering. So let's get into the topic. The topic was assigned to me was more on the modernization of other transportation means. So what I want to cover in this is few things like understanding of the basic coal evacuation infrastructure as of now. Why railway logistics plays an important role, because we'll talk about other than railways, then what are the mode of coal transportations, why modernization of coal evacuation is important, and how this can be achieved. And this will be most like a 101 of this overall coal logistics. So let's understand that why coal logistics, overall coal evacuation infrastructure, how it plays a role. So coal from the mine, if you can see, it reaches the nearest railway siding, and that is your first mile connectivity, because coal sites are always sites, these are all site specific. It needs to be evacuated to the nearest railway siding from where it can be depoted for a longer distance. So that's the main call, first mile connectivity, which is the major concern of Government of India as of now, to build this robust first mile connectivity. Second, the major part of it, that from the first mile connectivity, it reaches the second tranche from where it will receive the coal. So it's the second time it's get rehandled. That is called the trunk line movement, which is again mostly been preferred by the railways, just now said by the, our previous speaker in terms of, inland waterways as well as some belt conveyors. And lastly, if you can see, once it reaches the end user consumer, it will through trucks, perhaps again through railways,